What's going on, people? It's your boy Lynx here for In the Booth with 88.1 The Burg, your Music Central, and I'm going to kick off the little video series we're going to be doing here. This little video series we're going to be doing some tutorials, we're going to be doing some challenges between me and God King Apollo, and we're going to be having a lot of fun here. Hopefully y'all can learn something from our little misdeeds and adventures through the world of electronic music production. And so today I'm going to just show you how I build drums and how I do sidechaining. I'm not going to do anything complicated. We're going to do some very simple stuff. So all I've got so far is this little diddly that I cooked up in about 5 minutes. So it's just some chords with my my synth up here and my sub bass down here. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too special. But I'm going to show you how I do drums. So the first thing I always got to do is I got to do the kick, because kick is the most important. So most of my kicks are either cymatics or sound of cashmere kicks. I like cashmere for slightly bigger sounds and cymatics here and there, but I've been really liking the sound of cashmere stuff recently. So let's see. I think I wrote this in the key of F minor, so we're gonna do. Let's see what kind of F. Oops. Now the thing is I'm mainly going for a punchy kick because I don't want to. I don't want to have a kick that's way too powerful and has way too much sub in it. So let's see what we have in the sound of Cashmere 1. Let's see what we got for F kicks. I think I'll roll with this one for right now. And so I generally process all my kicks very similarly, sort of the same way. And so what I'll do is, just for this pattern right here, I'm going to do a quick little 4 on the floor pattern. Nothing too complicated, and then just do quick little 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're just going to drag this all the way to the end. And just because I don't want to blow your guys' ears out, we're going to take everything down a certain volume level. We're going to rename this kick. Whoops, I think my caps lock's on. There we go. So let's see what we got with this thing so far. We're going to do a little EQing here. I don't want a ton. I like that fundamental, but I kind of want to roll some of that stuff off right there. And let's bring out the highs just slightly. And the next tool I'm going to use is my drum bus. I always like to do trim around -10 or -12, and I like soft drive the most. Although medium drive sounds better here. I'll put just a little bit of crunch in there, and we don't want any extra boom, because I'm pretty sure that's not what we want for this type of song. Let's add just a little extra transient, just a tiny bit. All right, so that's actually very simply how I process my kicks. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll compress them using a supercharger or a few other things, but that's generally speaking how I process my kicks. Let's make a quick little snare pattern then, and snare is much the same. You don't need nothing too complicated, just a little 2/4. I'll grab a cashmere snare. We'll do hard snares. I think for the thing I'm going for, I don't need a super harsh transient snare, so I think I can get away with doing this guy. And snares I process much the same way, though generally speaking, I just like to do a little bit of EQing. Once again, nothing too crazy. Just because with snares, depending on what style of music you're going for, so like if I'm doing slightly more electro stuff, then I might compress the snare very hard, or if I'm doing something that's maybe a little more on the order of, I don't know, prog house, then I will not compress the snare at all. But let's just see what our drum pattern sounds like right now. I didn't capitalize it. It's gonna make me mad. So I process snares similarly. I like to roll off a lot of the low end with snares. But then you see right there, actually I'll solo the snare. You see that? There's that fundamental. We really want to bring that out. So I'm gonna really emphasize that. We're also going to emphasize this whole part of it. We're gonna bring up that high end just a little bit. Bring out the air. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now we're gonna do the cymbals. Now cymbals I generally like to process all on the same rack just for consistency's purposes, with the only exception being cymbal rolls and a couple other, I've done it different ways for different things, but I generally like to process the cymbals all in the same rack just so that there's a level of consistency. And then I already know what I'm gonna do because this cymbal EQ1 has like served me super well. I've loved it for every single song I've ever done. Never found a time when I didn't like it. Let's go to Kashmir 2. Let's go cymbals. Crash. We need to crash. I think that first one's probably the best bet. Let's go with a ride cymbal. I think we'll go with that one. Put that right there. And now we got to do some open and closed hi-hats. Let's see what closed. I like that little tail, that little reverb. I think we'll do that. And let's get an open hi-hat. I don't like any of those. Let's see what the first one has for open hi-hats. Oops. That's a fairly standard dance open hi-hat. I think we'll just go with that. And then we'll just make a quick little cymbal pattern. Once again, nothing too complex, but this one's going to be a little bit longer than the other ones. We're going to have a crash, lead it off. And then I like to do rides on every quarter note to like double the kick, just because sometimes it gives the kick that little extra high-end emphasis. And so then we want the one and the off beats. We like the open hi-hat there. And then I guess we'll just do a super basic like sort of one E and, one E and, one E and. So this is what we got for the cymbals. Oh, we gotta turn the loop on. Oops. So let's see what the whole thing sounds like right now. That's pretty cool. I like the groove, but there's a big problem, which is that the kick's not punching through at all, and so we need to fix that. So there's a couple ways you can do this, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. The number one way that I would choose to do it, of course, is sidechaining. There's a couple different ways you can do sidechaining. You can either do it via a compressor, or you can do it via an auto pan. I'll show you the compressor method really quick. So you bring this in here, you turn on sidechain, you route audio in from whatever your kick is. In this case, I've called it kick, just so I can tell. Then you bring this threshold down. Let's just bring it down to, say, -16. And then you can play around with the ratio. So essentially, when the kick goes over this threshold limit, it's going to gain, reduce, and compress the signal of the synth accordingly, and according to this ratio. So if you turn the ratio up, it's a lot more. If you turn it down, it's a lot less. So let's just see what it sounds like right now. Sorry, I had it on the bass there initially. You can hear it a lot better now. So that method's pretty useful for certain kinds of music, but for the kind of music that I like making, it's generally not. It's good, but it compresses your signal too much and can reduce overall audio quality. The other method, so another method you could do if you have Ableton Live is you could do an auto pan trick that I learned a while ago. Set this to note, invert it, set the rate to 1/4. Amount I generally like 85%. Set the phase to 0, and then click this one. And now you have the illusion of sidechaining. In fact, I'm going to put this over here. For bass notes, I like the only about 50%. So now the thing is, even without the kick, it'll still be sidechained. So if we listen to it with the sidechaining on and without the kick, you can still hear the volume ducking, and with it, it sounds even better. So it's not too bad. From here, I'm going to show you the last method, and the last method involves buying external plugins. So you'll go out and you'll purchase tools that are specifically built for this purpose. The tool that I like is I like ShaperBox. ShaperBox 2 is amazing. LFO tool is another great one you can use. So how ShaperBox works is you can automate any one of these things. Not really automate, but you can use an LFO to shape all of these sort of things. You can shape filters, panning, time, width, but we want volume shaping right now. So we'll start off with a basic sidechaining shape. I think I like this one the most. And so now what this is going to do is you can actually draw this shape and you can adjust it as needed. The problem with auto panning is that you don't have that much control over the shape of the volume shaping, so you're somewhat limited. However, with something like LFO tool or with something like ShaperBox, you can really shape the volume to be exactly what you want. So let's bring this down to what my usual 85%, and we'll listen to it on its own, and you'll hear it now. So that's pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and put that on the bass as well, and the bass will bring it down to, I think I want to go somewhere around 35%. I don't want this sidechained as much because I like my sub bass. So let's see how this sounds now. So there you go. There's 3 methods of sidechaining right there, and we've just now made a cool little groove in Ableton. So I hope you found this introductory video very useful. I hope that it can help you guys up your game, especially beginner producers out there, because a lot of the things that I just showed you right here took me legitimately months to learn. The sidechaining thing was a big one. Because it's not the most obvious thing that people will teach you right off the gate. But that's the important thing. If you want your kick to punch through and you want that really powerful dance music kick to cut through your mix and keep the beat going, you gotta learn how to sidechain. And you've also just seen a little view into how I process my drums and make quick little simple beats. Everyone's going to be different. My method is not going to be the method everyone else uses, and my method could be really bad for certain things. I'm not going to deny that my method has actually failed me at times, but I hope you guys have learned at least something from what I've shown you here, and that you have a little bit of an idea of sidechaining and building drums. And we'll hope to see you guys next time here on In the Booth. I'm DJ Lynx. It's not my actual name. My name's just Lynx, but hopefully we'll see you guys around. And next time I think we're gonna work a little harder on this little drop we're working on here, and hopefully build it into something big.